But we're also looking at another story out of the Middle East tonight, and I don't know if this is getting enough coverage as it should. It's the kidnapping of the American journalist Shelly Kittleson, this freelance journalist with 20 years experience covering the Middle East. She was kidnapped in broad daylight from a Baghdad street Tuesday, and you have new surveillance footage that just shows this terrifying moment that she was taken. Take a look at this. You can see men approaching her from the street, okay? If we can put it up, she's right there in that red circle. They put her into a waiting car, drive away at top speed. Now, Iraqi security forces, they were able to chase down her kidnappers. They arrested one suspect after the car he was driving crashed, but sadly, the other kidnappers were able to escape with Kittleson in a second car. Now, U.S. officials believe that she was taken by Kataib Hezbollah. It's an Iranian-backed group implicated in the kidnappings of other foreigners, though the group has yet to claim official responsibility for the kidnapping here. But prior to Kittleson's abduction, Iraqi officials say they warned the United States about threats to this journalist. And Dylan Johnson, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs, said on X, or posted on X Tuesday, quote, "The State Department previously fulfilled our duty to warn this individual of threats against them, and we will continue to coordinate with the FBI to ensure their release as quickly as possible." So they did apparently warn her, and it looks like there are leads. There is a source in Iraqi intelligence who says that they believe Kittleson is being held somewhere in Baghdad and that authorities have information about her kidnappers that they're using in order to secure her freedom. Now, Kittleson's 72-year-old mother, Barb Kittleson, said she heard about the kidnapping from a news report on Tuesday while just at her Wisconsin home, and that the FBI paid her a visit just a few hours later. Now, Barb Kittleson said that she last exchanged emails with her daughter on Monday. She shared her feelings about Shelly's dangerous job, saying, quote, "Journalism is what she wanted to do so bad. I wanted her to come home and not do it, but she said, I'm helping people." And you know, Barb Kittleson brings up a good point, because journalism, it can be a very dangerous profession, but are the risks really worth it? So I decided to do something. We decided to do something. Ask somebody who knows. Mike Boettcher is a legendary journalist with a Peabody Award, 6 Emmys under his belt. During his nearly 40-year career working for CNN, NBC, ABC, he covered nearly every conflict in recent history, from the Civil War in El Salvador to the more recent U.S. action in Iraq and Afghanistan. And during that career, he was kidnapped. He barely escaped with his life. Who better to talk about this? Joining me now is correspondent and residence and professor at the University of Oklahoma, Mike Boettcher. Thank you so much for taking the time, sir. First, I got to tell you, your son Carlos works with me on my team. I just have to say, so lucky to have him. Okay, he is incredibly talented, so I just had to give him praise. But I go to you, Mike. What is your take on this kidnapping? And was there anything that Shelly should have done? Should she have left Iraq after those warnings? Or if she's a journalist, she needs to be there?
Thank you for bringing up my son Carlos, who I'm incredibly proud of, and I'm also incredibly proud of Libby Dean, who's one of my former students who you were just speaking
Oh,
to.
look at
So
that. That's great. I didn't
this
even
is
know that. That's great.
yeah, no. She's a University of Oklahoma Gaylord College of Journalism grad. Getting to your question, more serious note. She should have paid attention to those warnings. I haven't seen a threat environment like this ever in a half century. I've been in journalism, and most of that has been overseas. Uh, it appears that she did everything she could. Look, when I was kidnapped in El Salvador, uh, it was a little bit different situation from that, and we'll get into that later, I'm sure. But you have a split second to make up your mind if you're going to resist. If you're being kidnapped like that, you try to make as much noise and resist as much as you can, uh, before being put into a car. But once you're in there like that, you're at their mercy. The game changes, and then you go into hostage mode, which is trying to work and negotiate with your kidnappers.
Can you explain a little bit more, not only about what the conditions of that would be, but what's the purpose of kidnapping a journalist?
Journalists have value. Um, you know, because a person is a journalist, they usually have a higher profile in a war zone like this. And if a journalist is kidnapped, other journalists will report on it and stick with that story because it's one of their fellow reporters. So journalism in its essence is also terrorism. And one of terrorism's goals is to get their message across to as many people on this globe as possible, whatever the message of that terrorist group is. And when you do that to a reporter, it multiplies that exposure of their message.
And I understand she was staying with local families rather than in a fortified hotel. As we're still trying to piece together, was there anything she could have done to protect herself? Or if she's in that situation, in that area, there's not much you can do.
Well, she was a highly experienced journalist in that area. And sometimes, that's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. You think you know a lot about a region and that you know the people in the neighborhood you're in and they'll protect you. But you're an American in the middle of a war in this region. You have value as a target. And in this instance, I think it would have been better to be in a hotel with, that has security guards and a lot of people. That's the problem. As a network correspondent, in later years, we didn't have it at the beginning, but in my career, but in later years, we have a lot of security, very highly trained former special forces and British special forces bodyguards. Freelancers don't have that.
Yeah.
And so you look for as much protection as you have. But I will say in Baghdad, I was blown up by a dual suicide truck bombing. And we had 12-foot blast walls, all sorts of security cameras, and they still got through and blew us up in Baghdad at the Hamra Hotel. If they want to get you, they're going to get you.
I was going to ask you about that. You having worked in Baghdad, what you just experienced, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this group that their authorities are claiming might have been responsible for this fraction of Hezbollah. What should we be thinking about in terms of what if they were responsible for this?
I was talking to a friend of mine who has a long career in the intelligence business tonight about her kidnapping and this group, which I'm familiar with. And, the assessment of American intelligence agencies is these guys are really, really bad. They are an Iranian proxy. And, but the thing is, and the hope is there's more value in keeping her alive than in some show that ISIS used to do with someone like James Foley.
Yep.
So that's my hope for her. I know what it feels like. It's scary. You have no control. And, you're fighting for your life every second.
For about 30 seconds, you tell me the back channel negotiations going on, I imagine happening. What does that look like if we're talking about her potentially being released?
This is purely a guess from me, but I think they're probably working with one of the Iranian proxy groups like the Badr Group or Badr Brigade that's in Iraqi politics. It's not listed as a terrorist group that the U.S. can talk to, that has some control over Kataib Hezbollah. And I think that's where the back channel would go, through Iraqi political groups that are extreme but have good connections with the Iranians.
Listen, Mike, I appreciate you coming on and giving us some perspective on this and what we should be thinking about. Our hearts and our prayers, our thoughts are with her and her family right now. We're hoping for a safe resolution. Mike Boettcher, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.